All right. Thank you for joining us here at Darlington Raceway, site of tonight's Bojangles Southern 500. We're joined here in the Media Center by Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. To Dale's left is Rick Hendrick, owner of Hendrick Motorsports, and next to Rick is Dr. Micky Collins, medical director of the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Sports Medicine Concussion Program. We'll open it up for questions here shortly. And before we do that, Dale, if you would, can you provide us an update on how you're feeling and maybe an update on how your recovery's going?
Yeah, I feel like the recovery's going really good. Starting to see improvements as we're going. It seems like this has lasted a really, really long time, but when you look at it on paper, it's been a very short period, and the gains that I've felt in that short period are very give me a lot of confidence that this is going in the right direction, and all the hard work we're doing is paying off. It's certainly fun to be here at the racetrack and to be able to see the team and to be in this atmosphere that you get so used to being in week and week out. So I'm happy to be here today, and it certainly is a place where you get pretty good exposure, and it drives your symptoms a little bit. So I'm getting some good exercise as we speak. And I just have, it's been a real interesting experience, and I've learned a ton, and I have a lot of respect for Micky and his group, and the direction that they're giving me is really really working. So I struggled with my eyes for a while, and I'm starting to see improvements there, which I was thrilled to wake up one day and feel a difference and start to see improvement there. Riding in a car or walking, the gaze stability that I've talked about before is starting to improve, which was a major relief for me, because that was probably the most difficult thing to deal with throughout the day, because it was there 24 hours a day. My balance is miles better than it was when I first went to see Micky, and we do a lot of exercises every single day. It's Amy's been there every step of the way, pushing me to stay focused and to realize the progress we've made and to keep working hard. So it's been a good experience, and looking forward to getting well and definitely on the right track.
Dr. Collins, welcome to Darlington, first of all. And if you would, could you please describe Dale's injury, and medically speaking, how is he doing?
Sure. My name is Micky Collins. I direct the UPM's concussion program. We've learned a tremendous amount about concussion over the last 5-10 years, and we understand this injury can happen to anyone at all. But what happens is the brain moves inside the skull, and it sets off an energy crisis to the cells and neurons in the brain. And we've actually...
Sorry about that. We'll switch mics just to make sure
Does
that...
this work better?
Yes, sir.
I'll start over. So what happens with a concussion is the brain moves inside the skull. And when the brain moves inside the skull, we've learned there's a number of chemical changes that happen to the neuron or the cells in the brain. And at the end of the day, what occurs is there's an energy problem to the cells. And we've actually learned now that there's 6 different clinical profiles or different types of concussions that we see. There can be cognitive issues or thinking problems. There can be problems with something called the vestibular system in the brain, which allows Dale to interpret movement and motion and stabilize his vision when he moves his head, interpret complex visual information. The third type of concussion is ocular, or your eye movements, actually moving your eyes in tandem, bringing your eyes together, diverging your vision. The fourth type of concussion is migraine. The fifth type is neck, and the sixth subtype can be anxiety and mood-related problems. And when I first saw Dale a month and a half ago, I can tell you he was pretty sick, and he was having problems with the vestibular system, with the ocular system, and with some anxiety and mood issues that is very much associated with these problems. And we have made progress with this injury to the point where we actually match treatments to the different types of concussions that can occur, and we have very specific treatments that can treat these different problems that Dale's experiencing. And in fact, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm pleased to tell you that the fruits of that labor are now paying off. And Dale has been a model patient. I know this is cliche sitting up here, but Dale has worked as hard as any patient that I treat currently or in the past. He's been very diligent about doing his therapies. And we actually have very specific treatments that are targeting problems that Dale has, and we're seeing the benefits of that. You know, when I first saw Dale, my goal was to see Dale become a human being again. And I can tell you with confidence that is occurring in front of our eyes. He's feeling better. He can tolerate a lot more. He's having fewer and fewer symptoms and is doing very well. And to me, that is the number one goal, is to get Dale feeling that way, as normal as a human being. The second goal is Dale becoming a race car driver again. And yes, we will be working on that as well. And I'm very confident that we're moving in the right direction in that respect.
Very good. With that, let's please go ahead and open it up for questions. If you would, state your name and affiliation. We'll start here with Kenny Bruce and Jim.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Dale, from the very beginning of the process, it seemed like it had been a 2 week. Now all of a sudden, you guys announced that sideline for the remainder of the season. Did you get any inkling that might be the outcome that you eventually arrive at? And also, how disappointing has it been to you to find out that your season's over?
Well, when we first went to see Micky, I anticipated the experience to be similar to what I'd had in the past, that we would work on getting better, and it would happen in a relatively short period of time. And I would drive a car before the end of the season. I think as we continued to go get evaluated, we realized that it's going to be a bit more of a process. And Micky can speak on the reason why we decided to make this decision to not race anymore. But I think it's the right decision, considering how I feel personally and physically. I definitely don't belong in a race car today by any stretch of the imagination. And you don't know how long this process is going to take, and we want to be healthy and able to compete at some point, but also we don't want to take any risks to re-injure ourselves or put ourselves in a situation where we can basically erase all the hard work that we've done to get better. But Micky can talk more about the decision that we made since the last evaluation.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm going through the process, so I'm pretty much. I know and feel. I know how I feel and how I need to feel and how I'm supposed to feel. So I'm not shocked. It's he's not telling. I'm not hearing things from Micky that I don't already know about myself. I'm very disappointed that I want to. I miss my guys. I miss the garage. I miss all you folks. It's so much fun to see so many familiar faces, and that part is the disappointing part, because I'm just used to being here, and this is sort of our circle, our family. So it's been weird not being at the track, and again, I'd love to be competing with my guys. We're obviously out of the chase and all that stuff, but I'm not really concerned about that. I just enjoyed what I was doing, enjoyed my job, and have a great group of guys that believe in me as a driver. So it's a difficult decision.
Micky, if you would, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I last saw Dale on August 24th, and though he's improving, it's very clear that his test results and our findings and the things we look at are not back to normal. And we have very specific data that we look at in terms of these different systems that I referred to earlier. Dale is a competitor. He wants to be back in the race car like no other. The stress that he puts on himself for that is very apparent when I sit down and talk to Dale. He wants to race. And went off again. There we go. I felt that myself and Dr. Petty, who's also treating Dale, the neurosurgeon, and our treatment team at University of Pittsburgh, we have a pretty robust team. We sat down, and I feel very strongly the right decision was made to take Dale out of racing so we can focus on getting him better and reduce the stress that's associated with that. Stress and concussion don't get along well, and we see stress can really exacerbate and worsen things. And I don't think it's coincidence that since we made that decision, we're starting to see a lot of progress here, which I'm excited about.
Let's stay in this corner, Jim, and then Alan.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Dr. Collins, this is kind of a follow-up. Dale mentioned briefly, and he talked more about it at Watkins Glen, about the incident traced back to Michigan. He had a different type of symptoms this time and a different type of period of onset. I was wondering if you could speak to a little bit about how this situation has been different from him than in previous incidents.
Yes, I treated Dale in 2012, and I can tell you some of the exam findings that we found with this injury were different. They were more extensive, different types of injuries that we see, and now you understand better perhaps why that is. There's different types of concussions, so we see different symptom profiles. The injury at Michigan kind of broke the seal on this injury, and when we saw him, he was having a lot of problems. But clearly, we're seeing Dale improve at this point in time, and we're excited about his progress.
Alan, and then Claire B.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. Doctor, when the time comes, what do you need to see to clear Dale or clear a driver to put him back in a race car? Is it a certain threshold? Is it very black and white, or how do you clear a driver to get back in a race car going that fast?
And you make a good point. It's, razor's edge, concentration, focus. And I want to make sure everyone understands the systems that are injured for Dale are the systems that make Dale Earnhardt. His ability to sustain focus and stabilize his vision when he moves his head and interpret complex visual information. And though Dale is feeling as a normal human being, to get him to that level of being a race car driver is exactly to your point. It's a different set of skills than any of us in this room have. I'm very confident that we'll be able to do that. Right now, it doesn't really, I don't have specific criteria because that's a ways down. We have time. But yes, I can tell you we're going to need to stress the systems enough to see if they produce any problems and actually rehab those systems enough to where he's not going to run into problems with this injury. And I feel confident that we're heading in that direction.
Let's go to Claire B. and then Bob Pockers.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I know a lot of people like to see Dale the person here as much as Dale the race car driver. So a couple of quick questions. Are you planning in the time other than recovery, which all that you're doing to rehab takes a lot of time, will we see you around the track? Will you have other things that you'll be invested in within your own company? Or are you 100% on the recovery? And then for you and Rick, when do you have to know? There's so much pressure on contracts and sponsors and know about 2017 or make decisions on that. Are you clear to take as much time as you need for that?
Well, I think any race car driver would tell you that if they're not in the car, it's really weird to be at the racetrack. And I feel, even though I love to see my guys and I know that they're happy to see me today, I feel like a bit of a distraction and taking them off of their focus to get their car in tech and all that good stuff. But I won't be able to not stay away from the racetrack. I think that I have a vested interest in how well the team does, the future of the team, and its success, and I want to be a part of that. So I want to be a witness to what they're doing and what we're trying to learn as a company. We're trying to always get better, so I want to be a witness to that. It's just very strange. Doug Ducart prodded me to come to the Tuesday debriefs, and it just feels really weird because I'm the only guy in there that really didn't go to the racetrack or drive a car. But it does help me to at least stay on the same page and up to speed with what the company's doing and what we're trying to learn. So I understand the importance of that, and Micky has said that I can basically do everything that I want to do and go everywhere I want to go. And the more I do, the more I stress those systems. And so I'm trying. The worst thing I can do really is just to sit on the couch. I tell Micky I feel awesome when I'm at home, but anytime I leave the house, I lose about 20%. You know, if I'm rating myself on a scale of 1 to 100, and he says, go, you know, do that more. You know, push yourself, and you'll see those symptoms start to fade in those environments that are upsetting you. But so I think coming to the racetrack would be a great thing for me, and you know, it's just odd, you know, an odd feeling, wondering what to do with yourself when you're there. But I love watching racing, so I was a fan before I was a driver, so I would I'll figure out a way to enjoy it until I can get back in that seat.
Well, you know,
Mickey, if you would just, yeah, sorry about that, gentlemen.
think this. Yeah, here we go. We were talking before he had to get out of the car about extensions, but I want him to race for me as long as he can, and he wants to be there. So the seat's his, and I expect we've got a lot of time between now and Daytona, and I saw him like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Then I saw him last Monday, and I saw him today, and the improvements have been phenomenal. And listening to the doctor, we're just we're excited about Dale Earnhardt being in the car at Daytona, and we've got quite much time. So, and excited about him racing beyond 17. So,
Let's go over here to Bob and then Mike Embry.
Bob Pockris, ESPN, for Dr. Collins. The common belief is that multiple concussions compound problems, and yet it appears from what Dale Jr. is saying is that you can make his brain less susceptible to injury in a similar crash as Michigan. Is that true, and will you be able with confidence to tell him that he isn't putting himself at risk of putting his health at risk if he gets back in a race car?
That's a great question, and the point I want to make is that's why we're doing what we're doing right now, is to make sure we get Dale's systems rehab to the point where not only does he feel normal, but hopefully to the point where we don't see less force cause us to come back. And we've advanced things to the point where we really do know how to rehab these systems well. And there's a lot of treatments that Dale's going through. He's going through vestibular therapy. He's going through vision therapy. He's going through exercise therapy. There's a lot of different therapies we're doing to build those systems. And you know, hopefully we can get to a point where we see that he can withstand the normal forces of a race car driver. If he had a significant force, you know, that can cause an injury as it would anyone, but that's what we're trying to get to, is that level.
Let's go to Mike Embry, then Mark Garrow.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Dale, there's a lot of talk today about racing, obviously, but how has all this impacted the rest of your life? The doctors talked about returning you to being a human being, etc. Have you and Amy had to talk about this? Have you guys delayed some plans or maybe accelerated some plans because of all this?
No, nothing's really changed. No, we're very fortunate that our plans are going to work out just fine. You know, aside from just not being at the track and doing what I'm used to doing, it's been, you know, the first 4 or 5 weeks were really difficult. I was very ill, and it was hard to enjoy just even the most simplest activity. But in the past couple of weeks, I've really gotten to where I feel a lot more comfortable about going out and doing and being out and about and being observed. I go to Target or somewhere, and I have symptoms, and I might stumble across the aisle or something, or need a little more sidewalk than a normal guy. But I got to put myself through those situations for that to sort of correct itself, and for and really, like Mickey said, the anxiety and the nervousness of the whole process drives all that and makes it much more than it really is. And that's why I feel awesome at home, because there's no anxieties or issues at home. You sit on your couch and almost convince yourself you're 100%, and then you'll walk outside and realize you're not, or you go somewhere and you'll have a symptom and realize that you're still got a ways to go. But Amy's been great. She's been there every single day pushing me. Without her, this would be nearly impossible to go through. So that's been awesome to have her with me every day. and available to help me. And she's really, she doesn't complain, and she's right there with me, doing all the exercises. She even does the exercises that I'm doing just to be healthy herself. But yeah, I mean, we got some great things that me and her are going to do this off season, and I'm excited about. And I'm just it's just once I don't it's been the last several weeks have been trying to remove some of the stress, and going week to week to evaluation was very difficult, and to have a definite plan that everybody's on board with, that Rick's comfortable with, that I'm comfortable with, that Micky's comfortable with. It's really, really made it a much easier process for me. And, so it's, but I get to go do all my sponsor requirements, my appearances. I went to a Walmart for Mountain Dew this past week. So I'm still I'm well enough to continue to honor my commitments with my partners, and really the only thing I can't do is just get in a car and race. I can drive down the highway. Now that my symptoms have improved, I feel much more comfortable doing that, and so getting back to normal is right there in the near future, and I'm getting better every day.
All right, our question queue is full here. Mark Garrow, Jerry Jordan, and we'll have one more after that.
Mark Darrow, PRN. And actually, this, I guess, could be for all three. Dale, now that you pulled yourself out of the car for the year, of course, NASCAR has testing policies and rules. Will this decision free you up to maybe do something more substantial testing-wise in a car later in the year that you might not have been able to do otherwise? And how would the doctor feel about that, and how would Rick support that, I guess, is my next question.
I really don't understand what you mean.
I mean, will you be able to maybe test a Cup car as opposed to a late model at Hickory or something like that?
Just to see how I do?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think, that would definitely be, once we're cleared, I definitely don't want to go into Daytona cold turkey. I would certainly want to get to a racetrack. What we did in 2012 was we took a short track car to Gresham and ran for a day with no data system on the car or anything like that. And I've talked with NASCAR, and they're completely comfortable with allowing us to go somewhere for a day to just, like Mickey says, we got to get in that environment and test those systems before we get the final sign-off. So that would certainly be something that I would insist on happening before we went to Daytona for the Speed Weeks.
Jerry, and then we'll end with Dustin.
Jerry Jordan, former Station Network and Kicking the Tires. Rick, for you, you've considered Dale as one of your own. How are you handling this from a personal aspect, knowing that this guy that you've got so much care for is going through this, and how's that worked through this time?
Well, he is like a member of the family, and I care about him as a person probably as much more than the race car driver. So I've been concerned, but I've been surprised how hard he's worked. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it, but he sends me videos, so it's proof. But it's been we're like a family there at Motorsports, and all the drivers and crew chiefs, and that you see the team light up when he shows up, and it's just like any time you have a member of your family hurt or sick or going through something, everybody wants to rally to help them. I don't think there's any way you'd gotten Jeff Gordon back in a race car other than helping out the organization and helping Dale, and I think that's proof of that. And we just feel good that, I've seen the progress. The sponsors have been super. They all care about him. They care about him so much that they want him to be on the cautious side, and we not going to make the chase. It just wasn't we couldn't come back even if he wanted to get back in the car, and I admire that part of him being truthful. And you guys know Dale well as anybody. if you ask him a question, he's going to give you exactly how he feels and the truth. And he's getting. We're excited about the progress. We are excited about him getting back in the car. Micky has been unbelievable to share and keep us up to speed and explain what he's going through, so we didn't know. And educating us has been great. So I can see the light now, and I see how taking the pressure off of him, the pressure off the team, the pressure off the sponsors. So let's just have a plan, and let's go with the plan. Get him well. Have a chance to test him, come back next year, and have him for the long haul.
Our final question from Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports, for Dr. Collins and one for Dale. Dr. Collins, with the apparent cumulative effects of concussions and with Dale's history, how susceptible, how likely is he to have another concussion once he comes back? And for you, Dale, some people, including fans and media, have suggested that you should retire. What do you say to them?
I'll go ahead. Okay. For me, I'm very confident in the way we're approaching this case. Everything that Dale presents with makes sense to me. The findings make sense. The improvements make sense. The therapies are taking hold. He wasn't feeling well when we saw him. I could easily see why that was. And seeing his response to treatments has been very positive. So I am positive that we're going to get Dale back to being a race car driver, and I'm excited about that prospect. But again, to stress, that's why we're doing what we're doing. The only time you run into problems with concussion is when it's not managed appropriately. And that's what we're doing with this one, is we're taking the time that we need, we're doing the treatments that are needed, and that's because we want to make that goal of Dale being able to sustain the normal biomechanical forces that would not produce a return of difficulties. And I think we're heading in that direction.
Yeah, I think that I have the passion and the desire to drive. I enjoy it. I have an amazing team. I have a great owner. I'm in such a great position and enjoying being a part of the sport. So my heart is there to continue, and if my doctor says that I'm physically able to continue, then that's an easier decision for me to make. So we'll, it's not something that I think about. We're trying to focus on just getting well and getting normal. So I do a lot of, I intentionally really sort of put all those thoughts and concerns and consideration on the back burner until I can really just say that I feel normal. And because that, getting normal and just having a good quality of life going forward for the next many, many, many years is the first goal. And so I haven't, really put a lot of thought into the future until I get well. But my heart wants me to continue and wants me to continue to be working with the guys I've got, and I'm only 41. It's I think I have some good years left. I think I'm as good as I've ever been inside the car. My ability to communicate and drive the car and get everything out of it, I feel very confident in. So I feel like I'm still an asset to the team and to the company. And so we had, Rick likes to say we have unfinished business, and I certainly feel the same way. We have races to win, and we went through this process in 2012. It was very scary and difficult. Micky told me that I would one day be well and I would win races again, and he was right. We got well, and I had some of the greatest years and the greatest experiences of my career. shortly after that. And so he's telling me that this is possible again, and I believe it. And if we work hard enough and we really rehab these systems, anything's possible from here on out. And so I'm very positive, feeling very good and confident about the future.
With that, Dr. Collins, Mr. Hendrick, we appreciate your time, and Dale, we wish you nothing but continued success in the recovery. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.